What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of 30 in 30, and today we're going to talk about taking advice. We've all had advice given to us, some unwarranted, some that we've asked for by some trusted people, but we have to learn how to take said advice, what to use, what to throw out, and what to completely ignore and block out from all memory. In my career, I've had some good advice given to me, but I've also had some terrible advice given to me. So let's start off with the bad. My worst advice that I was ever given was after my very first bodybuilding competition. It was from one of the judges. They told me to essentially gain 50 pounds within a year and then come back the next year and compete at that same very show. So within a 12-month period, they wanted me to gain 50 pounds, lose those 50 pounds, come back and compete more or less. And at 19, I was just getting started in the sport. I really didn't know how to take that, but I knew that gaining 50 pounds in 12 months and trying to lose that was probably a bad idea. So I did not end up doing it. I gained a little bit of weight over that next year. I did in fact come back and compete the next following year, but I was not 50 pounds heavier. I've had some other people say some things to me about my training, about my diet. I've seen some things on the internet, which I'm sure that we've all had. One thing that I did believe for about a half a second for some poor advice was at the beginning of my training career once again, where there was only 8 foods that work for bodybuilding, and those things consisted of like sweet potatoes, chicken, broccoli, spinach, almonds, oatmeal, those things. So I was misinformed on that kind of advice. I only did that for a very short period of time, which I feel like all of us did at one point in time. And of course, we've all been given advice in the gym. This is where most of it comes as unwarranted advice. I've been told things about my deadlifts, things about my squat, things about certain exercises that I'm not doing correctly from people who, by all means probably shouldn't be telling me what to do because they're not professional bodybuilders or haven't been in a bodybuilding situation before. They're just kind of your average gym goer telling me, what their general opinion is. And usually I don't ask for it. Quite often I never ask for it because I'm pretty sure that I know how to do my own training. What I'm getting at for taking advice from everyone else is I'm sure all of you are familiar with the phrase, too many cooks in the kitchen spoil the soup. So if you take advice from literally everyone that gives it to you, let's just say, for example, your diet alone, because I feel like all of us are very familiar with the crazy amount of diets that are out there, all these fad diets too. And everyone will probably tell you something different that you talk to. Now, obviously, if you talk to the close-knit circle that is the natural bodybuilding community, more often than not, you're going to see people who track their macros, who space out their meals, similar to what I would do. That's probably the norm. But if you go outside of that, and even within natural bodybuilding, there are still some people who do the meal plans, who only do the certain foods, who believe that stuff. But if you're going to go outside, you're going to get people telling you, oh, you can only eat keto, you can only eat paleo, you can only eat these 8 foods, you can only eat, XYZ, you have to be vegan, no vegetarian, pescatarian, all these things that it's hard to keep track of. And everyone will tell you a reason why you should be doing this. So, and you'll see this all the time, where people, you may know them, jump from diet to diet to diet to diet to diet, because they hear the next new thing every single week, and it just gets confusing, and then that just leads to frustration because you're never sticking to one thing. So for example, if you get advice from 10 different people on your diet or 10 different people on your deadlift form, they're going to probably tell you 10 different things more often than not, or a variation of 10 different things. So what's important when taking advice is to try to find a trusted source. So hopefully you guys think I'm a trusted source. After all, that's why you're watching my videos. So maybe if you're taking some of the advice from these videos, and I'm not saying that you have to take all my videos and take them 100% and use them. Or you could pick 1 or 2 out of these 30 videos that I'm putting out this month and take it and run with it. And that's fine. You don't have to listen to every single thing that I say. But if you like something, if you think I'm a trusted source, then use it. If you know someone who is a trusted source within the community, let's say, for example, that you're a power lifter or that you're interested more in powerlifting. You want to find someone who has shown constant progression in powerlifting. In bodybuilding, on the same level, you don't necessarily always want to go to the biggest, baddest dude and say, how did you get there? Because sometimes those biggest, baddest dudes don't have the methodology to get there. They have the superior genetics. They got there by happenstance. What you want is to take someone who was smaller and then eventually worked their way up and then became developed this great physique. And that is on any way, anything that you're taking advice from. That could be how to make money, relationship advice. Is you want to take someone who you trust, and not too many people, maybe 1 or 2 people, and take their advice and run with it, especially if you trust them. Obviously, that's important, because if you don't trust the people that you're taking advice from, then who knows what kind of advice you're going to be getting. So for those of you who maybe have gotten unwarranted advice before, like myself in the gym, what I typically do is say, I appreciate what you have to say. I said, but I'm kind of doing my own thing right now. That's kind of the nice way of going about it. I've had some not nice ways of saying it before the past 2, but I'm trying to be a little bit better person than that. So going forward, we want to try to take any advice that we get with a grain of salt. I would really hone in on the people that we do trust to give us advice, in our training, in our diets, just in life in general, because once again, if there's too many people telling you 10 different things at once, it's going to be really hard to know what's right, what you should actually do, and then you have to implement it and see what works. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Tune in tomorrow for another video of 30 in 30. I'll see you then.